happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. I'm so excited today to feature the last year's ambassador president, and he's with Indoor Media. He's the local Idaho marketing leader, Mr. David Manning. Hi, David.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, thanks for carving out some time with me today.
Always.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. As we were talking earlier, learning a little bit about Indoor Media, these chamber check-ins are really designed for the chamber to help share our members and their member stories, their products, services, and people. And I was just telling you, I was like, you know what? I learned so much from these myself. And so I can't wait to share a little bit about Indoor Media. But let's start with you first, David. Tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to being involved in marketing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We've talked about before. So, my background, I spent 20 years in the military, in the Air Force. I've been here in the Boise area most of my life, and went from the military. I was a software engineer for several years. I worked up at HP, and then I left that and went into market research. I was at a market research company for several years as well, and I think that was dipping my toe the first time into the marketing world. From then, I've got a varied career history there. I worked in IT. I was an IT architect, enterprise architect at Idaho Power and at the state of Idaho, and was a business owner several times over to several different businesses, and got into the marketing when I was a business owner. Really started to learn a lot more and apply a lot more of the marketing. From that, I've been in the solar industry. In the solar industry, I did sales, I did installation, I did manufacturing, a variety of items in the solar industry. I was in the telecom, voice over IP industry, working a lot with small businesses in the area. And now I'm with Indoor Media. I'm a marketing consultant with Indoor Media, bringing a lot of that past experience to bear and putting it on the table for my clients.
I think that's really cool. And I love all the different industries you've worked in. It just builds that knowledge over time, and it makes you extremely valuable, especially for Indoor Media, which I learned. And what I think is really cool is we often see things, but we don't know where it comes from, right? You go buy a gallon of milk from the grocery store. How did it get there? Where did it come from? And we just don't think about that. Like power, you just turn the lights on, but how does it really get there? And so I'm excited for you to tell us a little bit about Indoor Media and how you help your clients. But before we get to what you get to do, share the story of Indoor Media. I love sharing the origin stories of organizations. Bring us up to speed. Let us learn a little bit about Indoor Media.
Well, I'll tell you, I love the origin story. It's a great one. Let's go back to 1957, and our founder, Gordon, in 1957, opened McDonald's number 13 in Houston, Texas. Wow. And I think I says, wow, okay, he was the 13th McDonald's restaurant in Houston, 1957. By 1967, he had 10 McDonald's restaurants there in the Houston area. Had a partner, Doug. So it was Gordon and Doug running these 10 McDonald's restaurants. And McDonald's as a corporation noticed something of quarter after quarter. Gosh, it seems like this collection of McDonald's in the Houston area, bunch of them, they keep being in the top 10 sales volume nationwide. Now, this is in 1967, and they're kids. What's going on here? What's going on in Houston? So they're asking Gordon and Doug, what are you guys doing that you have such a high volume? Do people in Houston love Big Macs that much? What's going on? And they told him, it says, well, there's a printing company here, a local printing company here in Houston, and they work with the mom and pop grocery stores, and they put our ads on the back of the grocery store receipts here in the Houston. So we're running our ads through that, and these coupons, people are coming in, they're getting getting a dime off or a quarter off, whatever it is for their meal. And so we're running it that way. Holy cow. And they said, and they were doing that over and over again, and it was pretty consistent. Well, in 1988, that printing company in Houston went out of business. They shut down. Gordon and Doug immediately they saw in their McDonald's sales dropped off like a shelf. It was precipitous. And they're like, we got to do something about this, And so they actually said, well, why don't we see if we can buy the printing equipment and do it ourselves? So they did. They contacted the printing company that still had the equipment, and they bought up the equipment. They learned how to use it, and they went to these grocery stores, these mom and pop grocery stores, and said, hey, we still want to provide you with receipt tape, and we want to put these ads. And then this was in 1989, and we're talking pretty primitive stuff there of black and white. There were no colors on it. It was just simple printing but they were doing that. Other businesses in the Houston area were seeing it, and they contacted and say, hey, can we get in on this same train you guys are driving, because it looks pretty good and we want in. Well, they got to talking about it. This is, maybe we should focus on this and do this full time. They sold the McDonald's franchises. They sold all 10 of them. And I say, who sells McDonald's? That's a cash machine. But they sold McDonald's franchises to focus full time on doing this, on the receipt tape. Well, it started off in Houston. Within a few years, they were expanding outside of the area, and then they're working with major grocery chains. Now we are all across the U.S. and Canada. We're in over 10,000 grocery stores.
Wow.
All the major grocery chains, with the exception of we're not in Walmart, but all the major grocery chains nationwide, we're now providing them with their receipt tape.
I'm a shopper. I see it every day. And it's really well done how it is accompanied purchasing. So for some reason, it knows that I have a dog and that I buy dog food, and it always spits out a coupon for dog food. Or when I had, younger children, it knew that I bought diapers. And I tell you what, it was really relevant in the marketing. But
what we say there, Paul, is the key to successful marketing, successful advertising, not marketing, but the successful advertising is getting the right message to the right people at the right time and in the right channel. Well, the question people a lot of times ask me there is, why grocery store? Because that's all we do is the grocery stores. And they say, why grocery stores? And so, we know that in any neighborhood, the number one busiest place in any neighborhood is the grocery store. Everybody's got to eat. So everybody goes there. And if you're trying to reach families in that neighborhood around there, the way to do it is through the grocery store. Moms do the most of the shopping, and moms control most of the household spending. So if you want to get the message to the families in the area, the best way is, you get that message to mom. And you get it to her where she's going to be.
I love it. You know what? It's really unique. And I worked in the grocery business for almost 2 decades.
Right.
And, I didn't even think about receipt tape, right? In the front end departments, they just order it and it shows up and you stick it in the printer and it spits out the receipt and you just hand it to the customer. But there is a method to the madness, and I see now it's all color. You mentioned black and white before, yep. But it really pops, and you can tell who's advertising. So tell us about what you do and how you help your clients, David.
Okay. Well, when I initially meet with a client and go over, what their goals are, their advertising goals, and I talk a lot to them there about, who is the demographic you're trying to reach? Who are these people? Where are they? Basically, how are we going to bring them in the door, either calling or coming in the door? And I talk to them about, there's multiple forms of advertising. It says, okay, it could be brand exposure. And I have some clients that they just want the name out there. It's the brand exposure because there's power in that alone. And there's others that say, hey, I want to draw them in with a direct response. So, okay, let's create an offer that's going to incentivize people to come in the door. And I work with them on that offer to say, what's going to be attractive? What's the wording? What's the content? What's the artwork that we're going to use? Now, I tell my clients there that if you have artwork you want to use, great, we'll use that. If you don't, or you'd like some help with it, we have a fully staffed art department that will put something together for you, send it to you for your approval or make revisions. And then I tell them, says, and here's the thing, because we ship that receipt tape every 90 days to the grocery store, you can change your ad up every 90 days. So maybe you do a seasonality thing and say, hey, I've got one client right now there. Elise Candy is one of my clients. Love Katie. She is fantastic. And she wanted to do this. Says, hey, Mother's Day is coming up. I want a springtime things. Okay, let's change it up a little bit. Let's put pastel colors, make it more spring-like. Love it. And but she's able to do that. And we work with her to create that best looking ad that's going to attract attention and bring people in the door.
You'd mentioned the receipt tape, the back of the receipt tape, and in grocery stores here in the Valley. How many grocery stores use the indoor media receipt tape?
Well, all of the Albertsons, Fred Meyer's, Ridley's, Smith's, Kroger's here in Idaho, all of them do. Even the ones that don't have ads on them, the blank tape they still get from us, from Indoor Media. We provide them with blank tape as well.
So my question to you is, if I'm a customer of yours, David, I'm looking to get my brand out there, how many times per transaction will customers see my ad?
Oh, that's a great question, and I've had people actually ask me that. And it says, you know what? I tell them, I couldn't tell you how many times. If somebody comes in, they buy one item, and they're going to have a short receipt. The most business I can put on any one store is 12. I only have 12 slots available for any grocery store. And, if I've got, let's say, for example, the Albertsons and Eagle, I have 8 advertisers on that particular store. If the receipt is short, it may not show up that time, but it doesn't matter, because on the average, a shopper is going to be in that store 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, yeah.
So if they only get one item and they don't get it then, they'll get it the next time. Plus the fact I've got 3,000 shoppers a day coming through that store. So one of them that doesn't get your ad on when they came through and bought a bottle of water, well, you know what? There's 2,999 right behind that shopper for that day. Yeah. And so, that what we do guarantee is that it is being handed out. That it's being handed out at every transaction, and and every day for 3 months, every day. As a matter of fact, when the tape is sent, I am actually notified. I keep track of when the tape is sent and when it arrives at a store. When it arrives, I actually go to that grocery store and I do the installation to make sure it's on all the registers and that it's being run correctly, and that old tape is gotten rid of. Well, then halfway through that 3-month period, I go back to those stores and I do an audit and do a count to make sure they're going to have enough to keep in stock for the 3 months. If they're running short, which lately has happened with stores running short, running out, not having enough, halfway through, if that's the case, I order more supplemental to keep them stocked up through the 3 months.
Wow. So you're actually a vendor for the stores.
Yeah, absolutely are. Yeah.
Plus an agent for your client. I love that. Tell me, in the last few minutes here, what certain industries target this type of receipt tape advertising? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we have what we call the top 10, our top 10 industry. These are the ones that we have the most success with, most renewal. Our renewal rate with the top 10 is somewhere just between 80 and 90% year after year. We don't do automatic renewals. And so, yeah, we have the conversation, and 80 to 90% of us renew with us every year because it's just working. But our top categories, I mean, restaurants do very well, especially, and I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of success with Mexican food restaurants do phenomenal. I'll give you an example. California Mexican food over on Fairview, been with us a couple of years. They're seeing someone on the average right about 500 customers a month coming in the door.
Wow.
With these coupons. Well, the thing to remember also is it's not just the coupons, it's the fact that they're getting the exposure. So for every person that brings in a coupon, you got 3 or 4 that don't use coupons, but they saw it, they're coming in. Restaurant, oil change, car washes, healthcare is actually a pretty good one. Real estate is actually a pretty good one. I don't have any realtors on you yet. I'd love to get some. But that's one of our top categories is realtor. So pretty broad range of industries. Yeah. Retail stores, we got, yeah.
I love it. You know what? And then you'll discover new ones after this episode too, right? So we're going to be calling you, David. Tell me a little bit about other services that people can get through you by using indoor media.
Right. Well, one of the things is because we do, we review everything on it that's going on there. So there's a bit of marketing consultation we do as well. Okay. So it's not just me, but I've got another team that's behind me that reviews everything and makes suggestions and say, hey, what we've seen in the past, that from our experience, this works better than this. Let's make this change. And of course, it's the business owner that has the final say on it. But we also provide that consultation at no additional cost. We also include, we have a digital aspect to it there. We have geofencing product that we do as well, banner ads. But one of the things we also do is we do a service with my clients that we have master content creators on staff that create social media content and then email it to the business owner on a weekly basis. Say, here, you can just copy and paste to help you out with your social media. We do web visibility analysis that we provide the report to our client as well. And I mean, and these are services that are provided at no cost to the business. That basically we identify and say, here are your visibility report for local listings, local searches. We know that now almost 40% of all web searches now are done with a keyword, hey Google, hey Siri, hey Alexa. And they're done by voice. Well, those hit the local listings visibility as the algorithms are searching that to find the top most visible business of that type in the area. Well, our analysis, we show it to the business. So, hey, here's the things that your report and things you can do to improve that to get you at the top. So when someone says, hey, Siri, I want some pizza, Siri's going to find the most visible, going to find my clients.
Okay. One more thing before we go.
Sure.
I was looking at your website and it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Under the blog section, there was hundreds of resources for businesses.
Oh yeah.
And I was really taken aback by all the different educational resources for businesses from there. And it seemed like it was part of that top 10 of the clients that really do a really good job of working with indoor media. But I just think that's really unique. And I encourage anyone who's interested in learning more about how to market and advertise their certain industry. It's there on the indoormedia.com website. And then,
there's a lot of free information on there for businesses. Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it. Hey, is there anything else while I have you that you'd like to educate the public on?
Wow. It's one of these things there of like, we have a saying that in marketing and in advertising there, it says, when times are good, you advertise because you just want to keep things going good. When times are bad, you advertise because you have to. The thing to remember is that everything takes time. Advertising is a slow build. You can't do a one shot and done. It takes time. And so the question I've had for people before says, when is the best time to start your advertising campaign? And the correct answer on that is always 6 months ago.
Or right now.
Yeah. Well, that's right now is the second best time.
David, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed our conversation and learning more about indoor media, and I hope the listeners have as well. I want to thank you for your investment in the chamber as a member, as serving our ambassador committee. You're just a steward of our organization, and I just can't thank you enough, David.
Well, thank you, Paul. And I've got to say in closing there, so as far as the ambassador program, I tell people all the time, so if you want to get deeply involved and connected in the business community, there is no better way than become a chamber ambassador.
Awesome, David. Hey, everyone, remember to like and share our program here. And tomorrow we get to hear from another ambassador, Cody Freston, the owner, founder of Cherry Heights Family Medicine Center. Have a great day, David. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Paul.